Time of year for folks that celebrate that and observe that time, and it's a wonderful, wonderful time of year. And in past years, we've always tried to keep our December meeting sort of on the light side, but I see we got quite a list today, which is just a testament to how much important business that's taken care of by the commission each month, and the amount of activity that's in our county and the things that need a lot of attention. But I want to start by saying a word of thanks to our housekeeping and maintenance staff. If you have noticed through the courthouse building, the Christmas tree that's been put up, a couple of them are just beautiful. The offices have done some Christmas time decorating that really looks great. And then overnight, I'd like to call your attention that overnight last night that the tree put up to honor our veterans was put up. And it's not in the main foyer where the larger Christmas tree is, but as you go to the elevator there at that window, which makes it available or viewable from the street, then you see that tree covered with purple hearts there that's really pretty, and it was really, really nice to see that go up. And last year was the first year that we had that up. But it's really, really pretty, and we can never say enough to honor those people that have served our country, and we're just glad to see that up. But anyway, William and his staff have done a great job on that. The trees look great. And if you haven't been by the courthouse at night, the lights that were put up, approved by the commission and put up on around the perimeter of the courthouse and around the perimeter of the Board of Education building are just beautiful as well. And maybe you'll get to attend the Christmas parade tonight and see those. And I'm really glad that we participated in that. Those lights all over town really make the town look like a very special place. Also, before we get into our list, I'd like to note that one of the projects that the probate office has been working very hard on for a long time was to get up a good and really user-friendly website. We actually accomplished that about 3 months ago, but we had one little piece in the puzzle that we continue to work on, and that was the ability to make deeds and mortgages available to the general public for viewing and for purchase if they would like to. So we went live on that yesterday, and we are already seeing a real flurry of activity there. So anybody, we think that this is a real plus for our business people, our attorneys' offices, our real estate offices, our banks. You can go online and you can view a document without having to pay for it or print it. But if you would like to print it from the convenience of your home or your office, then there is a charge there that is necessary to pay for the expense of providing that service. But I am very, very proud of getting that done. I think when you compare the work we've done on there to a site like Jefferson County, for instance, you'll find it is extremely user-friendly and will be a great plus. So, Jeff, you shaking your head. Did you get to look at it yesterday?
I did. That's going to be simplify life a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that's anything that any of our offices do to try to improve our service back to the county community is a tribute to you guys that make it all possible, and I just want to say thank you for your support in that project, and I'm very glad to get that completed. Okay, so let's start with our guests and delegations. Captain Atkins, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to read some of this just so that anybody out there on Facebook gets a background on what we've done together. Good luck to everybody today. In early summer of this year, the correctional facility engaged in discussion with the Blount County Commission regarding a full galley renovation. Quotes received from Bresco, which has been our equipment supplier for many years, placed this renovation under the $50,000 threshold for real property adjoining to the facility. In August of this year, the correctional facility petitioned the commission for assistance in this galley renovation, of which the commission approved. Prior to this renovation, the galley equipment was original to the facility, which was constructed in 1995. This equipment was at the life stage of constant breakdown and failure, which repairs were becoming more than the value of the equipment. Beginning in September of this year and ending in October, the Blount County Commission and the correctional facility galley renovation was complete. Ken Mullins was, our maintenance director, was supposed to be here today, but he worked all night last night to answer any technical questions. But we do have our galley manager, Don Kelso. Kelso has worked in the food service industry for over 30 years. The last 18 of those years have been with Jack's Family Restaurant. Of the 18 years with Jack's, Kelso was a unit manager for 14 years and area supervisor for her last 4 years. In the area supervisor role, Kelso was responsible for a total of 5 Jack's Family Restaurants. In July of 2019, Kelso came on board with the correctional facility and has raised the standards of the galley through her work experience. Kelso is ServSafe certified and will begin training to obtain her nutritionist certification early in the calendar year of 2020. In fiscal year 19, all right, I'll hold off on that. I brought that introduction for Kelso because she's the subject matter expert on how this equipment operates. She uses it every day. So at this time, I would like to introduce Dawn Kelso so that she can tell you the benefits of what this equipment has brought to the jail.
Okay. Ms. Kelso, you're recognized. We are so glad that, we miss you at Jack's, but we're so glad to have you.
Thank you, sir. Well, thank you all so much for having me. I'm not a real good public speaker, but I'm going to do the best I can. I'd like to start out by just thanking you all so much for participating in this and allowing us to have this new equipment. As the captain said, I came on board in July, and the equipment was 24 years old that was in there. A lot of times, we would have to go in a little early and get stuff started a little early and do a lot of extra prep because it didn't always work. And so the benefit of the new equipment has just been extraordinary. The time that it saves us, the quality of the food that we can provide is so much better. And just overall, the time, really the time, I guess, is of the essence when it comes to that, and the being able to have the quality that you need to serve to take good care of people. And I've been taking care of people for a long time, so that's a big thing for me. My integrity won't really allow me not to serve quality. I don't care who I'm serving to, it needs to be quality. So I can never thank y'all enough for allowing us to have this equipment. And like I said, the kitchen has just become 100 times better for it, and I thank y'all so much.
If I could approach the bench, Judge, I've got, here's some, took some pictures. You can just pass that down with that fire copy. In fiscal year 19, the galley produced approximately 184,000 meals. The galley is the heartbeat of the facility, and this renovation has completely streamlined the process for food preparation and development. As Kelso said, we serve 184,000 meals in 1 year, and they're all bad. I'm gonna have a problem. Sheriff's gonna have a problem. Kelso puts together some quality food. I'm proud of it, I'm proud of the job that she does, and also our inmate galley workers. So in closing, I can report that the cost of the galley renovation was approximately $49,600. Of this amount, our commission supplied approximately $36,000. I think I'm close on that, might be a little bit more. This renovation could not have occurred without the assistance of the commission, and we are truly grateful for the value this operation has added. Kelso ensures daily that our galley food is stored, prepped, and cooked to restaurant grade standards. We would like to invite the commission to view the galley and equipment and partake of a meal prepared by the inmate worker galley crew at any time of your choosing. We sincerely appreciate what the commission has done for the betterment of our facility.
Captain, if we were just to show up sometime to come down and see it and eat with you, what time would be appropriate to show up?
12.
Yeah. Well, we serve at 11, so yeah.
We serve at 11, so 12 would be good.
Would be a good time to
Yes, sir.
come? Because I'd certainly like to do that.
Or at 11 would be,
Yeah, either way is fine. We'd have it all ready anyways at 11.
yeah, 11 would be better.
So it looks like your first picture here is maybe where you've taken out the old equipment, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And then the following pictures are pictures of the new equipment that's
Yes,
been
sir.
installed? Okay.
Yeah, it's a tremendous amount of equipment. The old equipment lasted 24, 26 years, whatever the case is. But in the past year and a half, we were spending a lot of money just trying to maintain it, wiring, things like that. It lived a full life. So we're in hopes that this equipment right here should last the same. It's good quality, American-made equipment.
Well, to do a good job on any job, you gotta have the proper equipment to do it with. I know as a farmer, I spent a big part of my working life, in the beginning, trying to do jobs I really didn't have the tools to do with. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of skint knuckles and all to improvise all the time, so. I'm very glad that that's working out well. It's good to see that you embarked on a project, you got it done, you completed it, and that's good. Commissioner, do we have any questions for Captain Atkins at all about this?
I like to say that, I don't know what a lot of this equipment is, but it looks neat, it looks clean. I like that.
Yeah, it does, it really does.
I got a question. How'd y'all do that and still feed everybody?
Well, that was a chore now.
I bet.
I can tell you
Good
this.
question.
Without the inmate workers, this probably wouldn't have been as streamlined as it was. From Kelso's galley crew to Ken Mullins' inmate worker crew, they did a lot of work at night after the galley shut down. It was many nights. And then too, we had a couple of days, we had, I think, 3 days where we had to feed peanut butter and jelly and bologna sandwiches, because that was the time where they brought in everything. But there was a lot of prep work there. It was not a small operation. There was a lot of planning, prior planning, scheduling, coordinating, and not only from my side, but from Kelso's side, from Ken Mullins' side. So, and everybody felt the weight of responsibility, because we can't, if we'd have went a week serving cold food, which by law we really can't, we have to serve at least one warm meal, hot meal a day. And we did that, usually at breakfast
But no lunch.
or lunch.
Yeah, we served lunch.
We had to bring grills outside to the outer area, and they cooked off grills just like we do at home.
That was a chore.
So,
Gentlemen, any other questions or comments for Captain Atkins? If not, Captain, thank you for that good report. We're glad to see that project complete, and maybe that equipment will carry us another 20, 25 years. We'll see. All right, very good, very good. Captain Atkins, the only person we had on our delegation list for this morning. I know the sheriff's with us. And Sheriff, I was going to mention that pursuant to our conversation yesterday, you were going to plan to be with us on Monday. And you wanted to say a couple of words of thanks and meet with us later in the meeting in an executive session. Okay, very good. I'd also note that we will have some guests Monday that I don't have recognized in the guests and delegation, and that will be our county extension agent, Mr. Dan Porch, and some representatives of the Master Gardeners Association. Mr. Porch has been our extension service agent for many years. He does have plans to retire, and I think we want to take an opportunity to especially recognize him in the spring at his retirement. But he come and met with me, and we talked a lot about the accomplishments of Master Gardeners, and he would really like to see the commission recognize those accomplishments. And so we have prepared a resolution to do that, and if it please the commission, we would recognize them on item number 5 and read this resolution of support. We have that in our packet and give you an opportunity to review that, and then of course you'll have opportunity to make any comments or ask any questions. But they have been a very vibrant organization that has helped not only in beautification projects in the county, but they're always the people we depend on to work as volunteers at our county fair. Our county aging program always depends on them as volunteers when they have their banquets throughout the year. And so they've been a very vibrant volunteer organization. So I skipped ahead there just a little bit because when you see those people, and I don't recognize them as guests, is because we'd like to honor them with this resolution if meeting the approval of the commission. Gentlemen, would we be okay with that?
Yes.
Item number 5, okay. All right, backing up to number 2, of course, we'll consider adopting the agenda as presented. We'll have consideration of approving our minutes from a regular and special meeting and our emergency meeting that we had earlier in the month, and approving our claims for the month of November. Also, item 6 is to consider resolution for severe weather preparedness tax holiday, which is February 21st through the 23rd. We have done this for several years concurrently to give people an opportunity to buy weather radios and those type of emergency pieces of equipment tax-free just at that time, and to kind of bring attention to the upcoming springtime tornado season and encourage people to be prepared. But be any questions about that, gentlemen? If not, number 7 is an item that we had some discussion about in last month, but it wasn't quite ready to take any action on, and that's to consider an application for a major modification of the current B&B tire landfill and advertise for a public hearing. We had not actually received that application at our last meeting, but we now have received it, and Chair would recognize council, Mr. Chair, for any comments in regard to his review of that application.
They have submitted a proposal to expand the existing facility. I know several months ago, the commission had, until it was withdrawn, he was considering opening a new facility. However, he's made arrangements to expand the existing facility, and the approval procedure for that is not quite as extensive as a new facility, and we will need to hold a public hearing and approve it or deny it at a commission meeting. So what's on the agenda for Monday would just be basically accepting the petition and, receiving the petition.
Just note that we had received it, and then we have a time frame in holding that public hearing. Would you address that also?
Yes, Judge. Now, Richard Phillips, I've met with Richard. He's representing Mr. Adams in this, and Highland Technical Services has produced a really professional application with all the information that's required for the commission to review, and this will be available in the commission office for anyone to examine and review if they would like. But we have to advertise for a public hearing at least 30 days in advance, but not more than 45 days in advance. So with the December meeting being Monday, we wouldn't have enough time to advertise and hold the public hearing in conjunction with the January meeting. We have enough time to do it with the February meeting if that pleases the commission. I have asked Richard to weigh in on this. What kind of time frame Mr. Adams is under, I don't know. So
Okay.
it could be that he might ask us to hold a special meeting for our public hearing.
If times, as Commissioner Armstrong, do you have any insight into that?
No, I don't know when he's gonna hold the public meetings, but I've
Okay.
spoken with him several times.
Well, in this modification, I don't think he's gonna be required to hold the
He doesn't-
meetings as we
right.
did in the past,
Correct.
but we have.
We have to hold.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
So
No,
it'd be great
yeah.
for us to have that public hearing prior to
A commission
our
meeting.
February meeting, and then we could act on it. But if time's of the essence some way, and he needs it earlier than that, we'd have to consider a special call meeting in the latter part of January.
I'll call him when I leave here, but like I said,
I
as far as
spoke-
just being a dead-on emergency, I don't foresee that.
I didn't.
I don't think so.
I don't think it was, but I talked with Richard yesterday, and he's gonna check with Mr. Adams, and I'm certain by Monday I can
Yeah.
report back to the
I'll have
commission.
some by Monday too.
When somebody will know by then.
Because I know when he's initiated the Cleveland site, he probably had maybe 2.5 years left in the
Oh, well,
existing.
yeah, I think he's.
But
I
yeah,
don't think
I'll touch up.
Hey, Jeff, show the commissioners just the front copy. There was one copy of this application, and as Jeff said, it's very professionally done.
It's,
And anybody wants to review it, we'll just leave it available there at
I'll leave it
the
with
commission
Ms.
office.
She'll have it.
Okay.
It's-
I have one question.
Okay?
Do we have to look at the solid waste board and some approval from them? Are we including them on this? I think last time, I know I've talked to them, the last edition we done for him. I'm sure their approval rating is gonna be very high with that, but
I think they'd be fine, but obviously with the new facility, we had the Solid Waste Authority met. I don't think it would be out of place for us to
You know, that's
call
a
meeting.
really good, that's really a good thought. I think that it'd be perfectly in order that we let them know that we've had this, and we'll know the timeframes that we're looking at, and they would have plenty of time to have a meeting just to weigh in on it if they'd like to. I think the changes in the law does not require that, but,
That's what I was gonna ask. I don't think they have to have a.
no, but it would be the courteous thing to do to make sure everybody stays on the same page, so let them be aware.
I have one question. Is there like on a new landfill, if we approve it, then ADM has to still approve it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that how
That's-
this
Oh, yeah.
still works? I
Yeah,
don't know,
it's-
if
yeah,
just be an
ADM.
expansion, if it was
Yeah.
just us.
Yeah,
then-
yeah. They still, yeah,
Yeah, they'll still have to prove
He's
it.
already told ADM, I mean, it's.
yeah, they
I
have.
mean, I know he's good with them, I just didn't
Yeah,
know how that
yeah,
worked.
but that's a good question as well. And also, to make application, he had to remit to the county the
Application.
20% of the cost of the ADM permit for a county application fee, and that was provided when that
Yes.
application come in. Any other question? Good question. Okay, we're good there. All right, let's move forward to number 8. Commissioner, let me recognize you on that one. On that District 1 truck.
I just know what Miss Jackie tells me. She said,
Oh, okay.
she said the company she had contacted them and spoke with somebody, and they've never sent a check or come got the truck.
They
Okay.
watch Facebook Live and you
You
make.
told them what you paid for it.
we knew they wasn't gonna buy that truck. Where was you at?
Oh, my goodness.
So,
Scrap right as
We're gonna rebid, I guess.
well, a question I would have is if you have somebody that has said they're interested in it, if,
They're-
at this point, I think we could set a price. Would you
Okay,
rather
so
take
they
another
have not
settlement?
exercised their right to purchase, so
Right.
we're
I
gonna,
think the law provides us, it would have to be a scrap price. We could be
If
guaranteed
that
scrap
or,
price.
We
how
can
many
sell
bids
it.
do we get on
I
it?
could have
Just the
sold it.
one.
Just the one.
For scrap.
I could have sold it outright for scrap price. I mean,
Well,
it's-
is there anything that says the buyer has so many days to come pick it up?
I noticed that I have never put that in the sealed bids. When we do through Gov Deals, we have 5 working days. I have since gone back and added that verbiage for future reference.
but had you called them or
Yes, I've
anything?
called
They
them,
just
I've
not
left
responded?
messages, I've
They
sent.
saw this.
I talked to the guy one time, and he said, okay, yeah, Miss So-and-so will call you back, and then it's like, nobody answers now.
All right,
Well, you know, I think, but
They're
that's.
probably out of business for making bad buys.
He is.
all right.
He
Well,
was mad 'cause I got it for $100.
John?
Would it be advisable to send them a certified letter, just since they were awarded the bid in a meeting, to send them a certified letter, just so we have a formal record that they were not
And
responsible?
just
think that's a
inform them
good
that
idea.
we've rejected their bid.
I think we should pay the
Okay.
shipping and give it to them.
All right, let's leave it on
I'll
the
put it
agenda
back- I'll
to
put it back in
reject the
service before I do
bid.
that.
But I think, Commissioner, if you want to exercise the option of selling it at
Yeah,
scrap,
that's
you can do that
We'll just
without
do
any
that.
further action.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, consider awarding paving bids. Let me recognize our engineer.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman.
Stewart.
Each of the commissioners should have a copy of the bid tabulations in the folder.
Is that the folder you gave us or the?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
These bids were opened on December 11th. We did emulsified asphalt, stone paving, and hot bituminous pavement, and also concrete. The emulsified asphalt, stone, and the hot bituminous pavement, those bids will be good from January 1st to September 30th. And at that time, we'll just rebid them with our annual bids. And the concrete bid, if it's approved, will take effect on Monday, December 16th, and be good till September 30th.
And how much was the concrete bid?
It was $142 for,
3,000.
for greater than 5 yards. For 2 to 5 yards, it was $192.
Okay, so.
Go back over that, let me hear it one more time.
If you order from between 2 to 5 yards, it's $192 a yard. If you order more than 5 yards, it's $142 a yard, and they bid that for every, we bid 4 or 5 different types of concrete. We bid a Class A, a Class B, a Class A with fly ash. We bid a 3,000 PSI, 4,000 PSI, and they put the same price for every kind.
So I can get up to 5,000 for the same price, because I like 4 or 5,000.
Should be.
That's not bad.
But it shows you what a good price you got down here.
Oh, yeah.
Say, that's what I was wondering about there.
The 190 had me scared, but we usually pull more than that.
Okay,
So for the emulsified asphalt, we had a single bidder, Ergon Asphalt Emulsions. And this bid was called a CMS-1PC and a CF-1H. The CMS-1PC is used for scrub seal. So we've talked with Commissioner Washburn about doing a potential scrub seal on Valley Grove Road. So that emulsion would be used for that. The CF-1H is a fog seal. It's a spray applied. You can put it over chip seal. It helps with your rock retention, and it gives you a black appearance, like asphalt. So it can also be used over degraded asphalt, and it will extend the life of your existing surface. So my recommendation for emulsified asphalt is going to be Ergon Asphalt, be awarded the bid. For stone paving, we bid number 89 stone. This is the stone that you would use for a scrub seal. It's a smaller stone, and it's able to fill cracks in an existing asphalt surface layer with a scrub seal.
so that would definitely have to be a wash product, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir, it would be.
Yeah, okay.
We had 3 bids for that 89 stone, very competitive bid, Madison Materials, CA Langford, and Blunt Springs Materials. Madison Materials was the low bidder, so my recommendation is going to be to award it to Madison Materials. For the concrete, we have 1 bid submitted from Kirkpatrick. So it's going to be my recommendation that Kirkpatrick be awarded the bid. And then for the hot bituminous pavement shoulder buildup, this is going to be our annual paving bid. If throughout this year, if we ever need patching or leveling, this will be the bid that we utilize. We have 1 bid submitted from Whitaker Contracting, so my recommendation is going to be to award this bid to Whitaker Contracting.
Okay, gentlemen, any questions for Dustin? Okay, thank you, Dustin.
Yes, sir.
Looks like we got some other pictures in there that maybe we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. Okay, so we've taken care of that. Let's see, John, recognize you for update on truck bids?
Yes, sir. I've spoken with both dealerships here in town. The bid for 1 truck was awarded to the Ford dealership, All-American Ford, and the bid for 3 trucks was awarded to Terry Sly Chevrolet. The Ford, we should have sometime mid-February. They've been ordered, they're on the assembly line, but the production is backed up. And it'll probably be toward the end of February before we get the Chevrolets because of the strikes that just recently wrapped up. So production has been slowed pretty much on all vehicles, especially those that are not made in Alabama. So we expect to have those mid to late February, and everything else is just waiting at this point.
Okay, any questions, gentlemen? If not, number 11, be consider authorized chairman to sign a software agreement with Animal Adoption Center. John, you probably the most knowledgeable about that. Would you address that as well?
Yes, sir. We have software for adoptions at the animal shelter. That software tracks the animals. When they're microchipped, it tracks that. And that software was free as long as we use the microchips. Recently, they've come back and told us that it'd no longer be free and that it would be, the price was pretty high. So we did a request for proposal for other software providers. This software, there's no upfront cost, there's no additional cost, but it will be a per adoption cost of $9. And so that'll just be built into the adoption cost. there's nothing that we would have to bid out because we're not paying over $15,000. So as they looked at it, Shelter Love is the name of the software, and they really liked the functionality of it, and it was very low cost per adoption, so.
So the chairman would need to sign an agreement, but the charge would be per adoption.
Per adoption.
And that would be passed on to the adopter.
Through the adoption cost, yes, sir.
Okay.
So that, it really is just authorizing the chairman to sign the agreement.
Okay. Okay, any questions?
The question I got is, I think you probably already said it when I was writing some things down, there's
No upfront cost. The only cost will be per adoption, and that's how they make their money, is as we adopt animals out. And then we're not required to use their microchip or anything like that. We would just pay per adoption, whereas the other software, we're gonna have to pay an upfront cost and use their equipment.
So each dog has a chip?
Theoretically, with the other equipment, what we have in place right now, every animal's supposed to get a chip that coordinates with that software. They haven't been doing that because of the additional cost, and not all adopters want to do that. And so that's why the upfront cost would come into play. This wouldn't require it, but it could function with a microchip if the adopter wanted that.
Okay, anything further?
one more question.
Sir,
So
go
this
ahead.
is an option for
Sorry?
the one that's adopting them, or is it not an option?
To get a microchip? Yes, sir, absolutely.
It is an option.
Absolutely. They can get a microchip. I think there's a fee for that, and I don't have the fee schedule. in
Is it
front
a
of me.
big fee?
No,
I mean,
sir.
is
None
it something that
of
we
it's-
could implement where everybody has to get a chip? That way, when we put these dogs back out on the streets, if they're a nuisance, somebody says that's not my dog, we can chip it and we know it's John's dog.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it's not too expensive.
I don't think it's a lot. I think the adoption fee right now is $90, and that includes the spay and neuter, of course, the cost of housing the animal. And then I think that also includes microchip, but I'd have to confirm that. But not every animal. Of course, I don't think they microchip cats or donkeys or anything like that. I think it's
Cats
just
are a
dogs.
nuisance. They get on your
I'm not real knowledgeable about the microchip process, but I'll look into that, and as we're working on the animal policies and procedures, which we're starting now, we can probably build that in. But this would certainly allow that. It would not, that
I
would,
just
this wouldn't
question.
hinder that at all.
Okay, any further questions? Now, let's look to number 12. We have a amount of support of $26,392.50. It is the portion designated in our budget for the Blount County Aniana Chamber of Commerce, and we do sign an agreement there. John, so you're just asking authorization to enter into that agreement?
Yes, sir. That's something that the auditors look for, is when we provide funds for an agency, they want to see an agreement or a contract. And so with the Chambers of Commerce, they're providing services for the county. They're promoting business, they're promoting tourism, and so we have an agreement with them, and we just need authorization for the chairman.
Yeah, okay, so have we, should we also go ahead and include the West Blount Chamber in that so that we'd have authority to do so? And-
Yes, sir. I haven't actually gotten them the agreement yet, but I can get you guys the standard agreement that we've done each year.
Ms. Ford, it'll be what we've always done, and that gives us the documentation for our examiners, as John was saying, that we're using that money in a proper way. So, okay, you think that'd be
I can
advisable?
put that together and
Okay,
get that to you this
so to be any
afternoon.
objections, gentlemen, to add the West Blount Chamber there, so we'd have authority to go ahead and sign both of those agreements?
Good.
Okay. All right, 13 and 14 is a lot similar to the same, and that's to consider bringing forward the ending balances from our district budgets from fiscal year 2019 and for engineering department, and that's practice that we've had in place for many years because of uncertainties of weather and things that might hinder you from expending that budget. If you have some left over, or if you've had a special project that run you a little bit over, it's time that we just settle all that up. So we would like to have authorization for John to go ahead and make those budget amendments. Would there be any questions? If not, on number 15, we've got to consider a budget amendment from the town of Hayden in the amount of $33,157.91. Commissioner Armstrong, would you like to address that?
Yeah, this is for the road reclamation work and, pipe, culvert swap that I done for them back in October sometime. It was prior, no, it was September.
Yes,
It was
sir.
prior to the
Prior
new
to
fiscal
the-
year. And they got the check, we got them billed and they got the check, but what I wanna do with this is just put it towards the payment of the backhoe I just purchased a few months ago, so. Instead of rolling it into the budget, we're just gonna pay them, what account was it, 1
200 is where we borrowed it.
Yeah, 200.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, very, very good. So we get that done. 16 looks like that we've had a little overpayment that needs to be refunded in District 3, Commissioner, to Highland Lake. Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of it, but I will tell
Okay.
you what happened.
Okay.
They're probably secretary, because they changed a lot of hands out there, probably went ahead and sent those funds. The reason for that, in October, Highland Lake has actually started taking care of their own roads and their own expenses now, so we were getting their AAA and Triple R money.
Right.
So now that's what that was, they just probably.
Sent it as a matter of routine.
Yeah,
or
matter of
habit.
routine.
They
Okay.
sent an extra month.
All right, it's okay.
So I'm good with that, I understand what's going on.
Okay, so, all right, so we'll consider budget amendment to reduce those receipts in order to refund that.
And I like to say Highland Lake's doing a great job. They formed a committee on the roads, and they're really doing a great job of moving forward. They have an average of around 12 to 14 miles of roads out there, and they're doing a good job of moving forward. In fact, when we turned the bridges back over to them, I think they had a $15,000 bridge project over there on Lakeshore Drive, so they're moving right along. They're doing a great job.
Well, and I know that was kind of a hard decision to
It was.
face that and work through that, but Commissioner, I think you've done a great job and kept relations well, and everybody just understands
I
that.
think they understand the needs of the county and their needs,
Mhm.
and how it could, with them, by controlling their own expenses, they can actually do a better job.
Yeah, all right, great. Okay, we received $194 from the Board of Education to reimburse for those Christmas lights on that building.
Yes, sir.
So, budget amendment to add that back would be appropriate. And again, as I stated earlier in the meeting, I think the lights look great, and I'm glad that we're participating in that endeavor of the Business Association. All right, 18 is consider amendment for the Walmart Foundation grant for EMA in the amount of $2,500. So, I don't see Don, can you shed
Yes,
some
sir.
light on that for us?
John wanted to be here, but he is helping conduct a winter weather exercise at the hospital today. So he asked me to just give some information, and he will be here Monday if you have further questions. But
Is that- Okay.
he applied for a Walmart Foundation grant for some equipment to help out just for general EMA purposes. I'm not exactly clear on what equipment he bought right now, but he can tell you Monday if you have questions. But there's $2,500 that he's received. He just would like to have that added into his budget to purchase that equipment.
So that's not gonna cover the cost for number 19. That's when I saw that.
No,
I
that's, that was my first question to him. But he had
Yeah.
already designated certain equipment when he applied for
Okay.
that grant.
All
So,
right.
the siren activation for $2,300, on November 18th, which was just after our last month's meeting, he was notified that NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, would no longer be continuing the MWIN program, which is the program that automatically activates our sirens. So when a tornado warning or tornado watch a tornado warning is activated, our sirens are targeted in certain polygons to activate. And that's, you probably had questions of why did my siren go off? Well, they weren't in that polygon. Well, that process that we were using is no longer active as of December 2nd. So that ended December 2nd, and here we are, December 12th. They're initiating a new service called WeatherWire service, which is $2,300. They can still be activated manually, and so it wasn't an emergency to get that because they can come in and activate those sirens manually. Where it might slip through the cracks and where it would be an issue is when there's no watch that's been activated and something pops up and a warning is instantly activated and no one's in the EMA, they couldn't activate those. This service would take care of those gaps when something pops up really quickly before they could get to the EMA. And it's $2,300.
John?
There's nobody at 911 that watches any of this?
They don't have the ability to activate. We could look into it and see if that would be a possibility. I didn't talk with Don about that, but
I think the levels of responsibility is what we can let our 911 or emergency management to handle that. I think it needs to come from that program, so it can be tied right in with the.
Okay. Is that something Don can cover from his budget, or is something need to be?
no, sir,
addressed?
he wouldn't have that amount of money in his budget, and so it would be additional.
No, we didn't see that coming.
No,
Hey, that's the way with
it's-
programs, they get you started and then turn it over to
Right,
you.
they notified
You
on
just look
November,
for it.
they notified on
how.
November 18th that it was ending on December 2nd. So
Well,
2 weeks.
I will say this, I think it's a great program in that if the siren needs to activate, say, at Mount High or Hayden or where, that doesn't mean it needs to activate in the Hopewell
Right.
community, you know, and it
sir.
really causes, so
And
it's
it
a
can-
good program for,
It can still be done, they can still be activated manually, but this is for when a watch is not issued and a warning pops up. So a tornado pops up and there was no watch issued previously, so they had no notification to be an EMA. And Don had some details here. He said that since we've initiated this process, since we upgraded the sirens, we've had several tornado events where the National Weather Service has issued warnings without issuing a watch, and that's what this software would provide. It would do it automatically even when they're there, but they could manually do it.
So where are we doing it manually at? Downstairs?
Downstairs, yes.
So if nobody's here at midnight,
Right. And a
It's long
warning
gone.
pops up.
that's right.
If a watch is issued, they come in.
right,
But if no watch is
Exactly.
issued, they may not have enough
we're
time.
gonna pop up and it's over
It can
with.
be, it can be come and gone,
That's right.
yeah. Yeah,
And it's important because the weather guys is the only job out there, they can still get it wrong, and
Yeah.
they still get paid.
that's right.
So we need to depend on computers.
Yeah. If anybody don't think it's important, if John still has a video from one of my neighbors, Mr. Joe Bullard, who reported to the TV station when they reported that a tornado was about to hit in his community, he said, "No, I done gone. I watched it out the
Yeah,
window."
watched it go over.
Yeah, all right. So gentlemen, you think we need to go forward with this, make a
I think so.
budget amendment to provide for this? Okay. All right, good. Let's move to number 20, consider Palisades Board appointment to fill the unexpired term of James Sullivan, which would have expired in September of 2020. So James has resigned from service there. Okay.
Is that a district appointment?
That, he come out of District 4, I think that is a district appointment. Am I right?
That, I don't think they are set up that way, but that's traditionally.
What we've
if we
done,
replace
one
them
from
with-
each district.
From where they come
Well, James would have been a past appointee of District 4. So, Commissioner, you may not have had any warning on that, may not be ready to do that on Monday, but you want to give that some thought, or?
I'll try to have something. by
Okay,
Monday,
if not, we
or
can-
if
we
there's
can put it
anybody else
on.
that knows of somebody.
Well, usually the board recommends somebody. We haven't got anything from them.
Has
I
Jeff
haven't
said
got any
anything to you?
recommendation, but I can reach back out to Jeff and see.
Yeah, Eric, Chairman,
Mr. Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Mr. Jones,
Jerry
he still,
Send
I
it.
would, just in
Yeah.
case.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's leave that on the agenda, and we'll reach out and be thinking about it. And, you know, the big thing about these board appointments is it's easy for someone to agree to serve, but then if they never show up, and that's so often the case, that we really need to, because they're doing those jobs for us. And we can't do all that. If we did, we would. If we could, we would, but we can't. So we need that help from people to do that. So a willingness to serve is great, but beyond that, a willingness to engage and be an active part is very important. So let's keep that on our agenda, and we'll make a decision if we're ready or if we need to roll that over on Monday. Okay, 21 is to consider the appointments to the Metropolitan Planning Organization. Currently, they are Commissioner Armstrong and Commissioner Washburn, because their districts are actually touched by the MPO, with Danette Heinrich serving as a proxy for both. Gentlemen, would that be your pleasure to continue to serve in that capacity? Commissioner Washburn? Okay. Commissioner Painter, would that be
Yes, yes,
agreeable,
yes.
Commissioner Coward?
I'm good with
Okay, all right, very good. Well, you know, it was not, I always questioned the value of being part of the Regional Planning Commission in years past, but when we got included in the MPO, a lot of things has changed and a lot of benefits have come to Blount County from that. And gentlemen, appreciate your willingness to serve. Okay, the county commission appointments to the Agribusiness Center Board. Currently, Mr. Chester Thomas, Don Roybal, and Mr. Jeff Hallmark. Their terms are set to expire. Of course, we know that we have a lot of discussion going on and a recent, very productive meeting with the city council and trying to work of how we will go forward. I will say that these three gentlemen that are your appointees, commissioners, are probably the most effective members of that board. And not knowing exactly, you know, where we're going to land as we work through the future of this organization, I think it'd be appropriate to go ahead and make these appointments. And these gentlemen have served very well. I'd just like to compliment them on that. But it would be up to you if you'd like to keep them there or to replace them. Any comments?
I think we need to keep them on the board with what we got going on with that. And maybe we'll know more about it today at 2 o'clock also, but
They all,
we didn't need to change the board at this point.
they all have worked extremely hard in these appointments. This is not a,
They certainly
this is
have.
different from a lot of boards. There's a lot of work goes into this.
Yeah, they sure are. And these three, again, have been, we just can't say enough about Jeff's service. Mr. Thomas has been on the board now for a term. He has really engaged and worked, and we knew if he made that commitment, he would. Mr. Roybal has served well and has went above and beyond at times to help there. So I think we could not improve on these appointments whatsoever. Okay, if it pleases the commission, we'll just, the chair will entertain a motion on Monday just to reappoint these three gentlemen. Okay, number 23 is something I added to the agenda, and that is because this is a presidential year, and we expect that we'll have a heavier turnout than any time in other elections, then the probate office really begins working hard and working early to make sure that we cover every base that we need to cover. And I would like to, for the commission to consider allowing the probate office to add to our inventory of electronic poll pads an additional 3 or 4 pads and use our HAVA money that's available to buy those. I would be able to purchase those, get reimbursement, and it might be that we'd be able to get half that money back through election reimbursement through the state. I know that's a focus right now of doing that. And what I'm thinking, we haven't made concrete decisions on this yet, but I would like to be able to have the option at least of placing a second poll pad in the Smoke Rise voting precinct, in the Sneed voting precinct, possibly on in the Straight Mountain Highland Lake area, so that we'll be able to process people well. And I always feel better to have a couple of extras in case we have a problem on election day. So, Ms. Ford, I think you have made it very well with what you've had, but if you increase that voter turnout of 20 or 30% from what you've seen, a second poll pad might really be of value to you there at Smoke Rise. Would you agree, or what would be your feelings on that?
We have had long lines outside the building, and yeah, that would be absolutely fantastic. Can I vote on that?
Well, you can, you sure can. We might not count it, but you sure. But what we do, we'd make every effort to make this in the final a zero expense to the county commission, but we do need the availability to buy it and seek the reimbursements back that we need. We already have 2 poll pads in the city of Oneonta, at the town of Bluntsville, I think where else? At Hayden also, yeah. And the Smoke Rise precinct continues to grow. And again, the presidential year for elections is a year that we will expect more people at the polling place than ever before. So, gentlemen, how you feel about that? This is your decision. I think I'm just bringing it to you in a recommendation that.
Mr. Chairman,
I think-
on the HAVA grant, there's enough in there to purchase whatever you need.
Yes, sir, there is.
Uh,
There's approximately $55,000 in that fund.
The way I look at it, of course, the only thing we're looking at for is upkeep down the road unless the elections don't come back and fund the software, which we're working on.
Right.
I say we go ahead and man it the way you need it manned, so we won't have those long lines.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and I think it's just, we just want to give as good a service on election day as we can.
I know the last presidential election we had, even with Hayden having two boxes, it was out the door.
Mhm.
You know, it was a very long line.
Yeah, it certainly can be. Okay, well, I appreciate, gentlemen, you can give that consideration. Any other questions or comments regarding that? If not, let's move to number 24, which is consider an updated Blount County transportation, drug, and alcohol policy, which would have to do with our transportation program.
Yes, sir. This is for the transportation, the local buses. As you know, that's funded mostly by a federal grant. And so we have to comply with pretty strict federal regulations there. This is just updating that to comply with those federal regulations. There's a drug-free workplace policy that the federal government has enacted, 49 CFR Part 29. And so it's the same policy, we're just updating it to include the bold typeface that the federal government it requires. And it's pretty strict. I mean, some highlights are, it doesn't allow even the use of beverages containing alcohol or substances including any medication, mouthwash, food, candy, or other substance which causes alcohol to be present in the body is prohibited. So just making the regulations a little stricter, and we'll communicate that to all the drivers. And it also expands it to apply to all employees of transportation, not just drivers.
Yeah,
So
the clerical
dispatchers, the
workers.
clerical
dispatchers.
It's a
workers.
pretty strict policy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bad breath,
Pretty
but,
strict.
you know, excuse me.
Watch
Just
that
gonna
list
have
of rain.
Get a mint that
Yeah.
has no alcohol in it. So
Is there not some gum that has alcohol in it?
sugar, alcohol, yes, sir. So we're gonna have to be very clear with them what you can and can't use.
What it amounts to, though, that used to be no drugs, no alcohol. We having to define.
Define,
Yeah, right,
absolutely.
right. Yeah,
That's what this is
yeah,
about, is
that's-
defining what we really mean and defining what a safety sensitive duty is.
Because I'm big on about how it's worded. Hey, it's just chewing gum.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's got alcohol in it.
And it may not bring your blood alcohol up to the level that's required. I was looking to see, it's .04, I think. But anyway, whatever it is, we just need to be clear with people, don't even get close to that line, you want to problem.
Yes, sir. Okay, so that's that.
Yeah, let me, are you ready now?
Okay, we'll move on to item number 25, and Commissioners had to take an important call there. Gentlemen, if you don't mind us just taking just a moment to let him complete that. And would there be any objection, just a 5-minute break? I could really stand to take a little bathroom break. Let's take a 5-minute break. Let's come back and finish.